we are slowly getting things checked off this list for final delivery. Alrighty, well, you haven't had an update on the 71 GTO Pro Touring project in a while, so figured it's a rainy, crappy day, and I am finishing up a bunch of small stuff on that. Also doing a few things on the Barrett-Jackson 69 GTO. We're full GTOs today. There's another one outside, actually, another 69. Let's go over what we got here. As you can see, there is pretty much a full interior in it again. The only thing I'm waiting for is our key cylinder for the glove box, and then that can all be put in. And I'm also waiting for the trunk pop for these two wires to be wired into, and that's done. You can see I've got my whole TMI center console in, holes drilled in there for our low car sports shifter, got a nice boot on there. So that's just a low car ESS sport shifter, which gives us regular drive. One back is sport mode, to the side you got tap shift. We got our TMI seats in for the final time. We have our TMI carpets in, finally. I've got the bottom half of the dash all buttoned up. So basically everything from this side of the dash over, we are done. There's nothing else that needs to be done. Oh, I take that back. He wants to get rid of the cigarette lighter and plug in and put in a USB style that hooks into the USB that comes out of the radio. So that way he can just plug his phone in there to charge or communicate instead of having to have a separate USB cable down there. But I've put some miles on it. I think we've got about 430, 440 on it. I want to try to get to 5. Do the first oil change, because this is a GM Performance Parts crate motor. It's a 525 horse LS3. So we'll do the first oil change at 500, next one at 3,000, and do them every 3 after that. Even with synthetic, the max I like to go is 4,000. I absolutely do not trust these 7 to 10,000 mile oil change intervals. I don't care. I have done this long enough to see what the oil looks like when it comes out, if there's any oil left when it's time for an oil change, because they love to burn them. But body wise, we are done. I just have 2 new sill plates to put on, because as you can see, that one has a ripple in it, so we're replacing that one. Suspension has been flawless, brakes have been flawless, drivetrain flawless. There is almost no rattles and squeaks in the interior, and the only thing that does have some rattles and squeaks is the convertible top when it's up, and it's a 1971 convertible top mechanism. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get rid of everything for squeaks on that. I have TMI sun visors to put in. I also have a camera to put in for him, so he wants that in, so I'm going to hardwire that over, hide all the wires into my fuse block. Stereo's all in. As you can see, we've got our 6.5-inch Kicker KS speakers there, and we've got 4-inch Kicker KS's in the dash. They are powered by a small, it's Kicker amp. It's a little tiny form factor thing that is, I think 50 watts by 4 channels. It's nothing crazy. It's not earth-shattering, but that's what he wanted. He's not a big stereo guy, so he's like, I don't want a sub, I don't need this, I just need, in case I want to listen to some tunes, I can put tunes on. So that's what we did. Let me show you the trunk kit. Alrighty, so the trunk has a TMI kit in it as well. I've got to wipe off all my fingerprints and marks on it from installing it last night. So I had to modify this. If you're putting one of these, this is a Chevelle kit, which TMI says works in the GTOs as well, because A-body is an A-body, right? Wrong. So this little turnbuckle assembly, as you can see when it comes down, it doesn't come down and go like inwards. It comes down kind of straight down. So that was hitting, and I had to trim these down an additional 1/2 inch and rewrap the leather, and that is good on both sides now, as you can see. Before, this would come down to about here, and if you can see, if that opening was a 1/2 inch higher, it would literally rest on it and stop. The only other thing I don't like is the fitment in the corners. It's not horrible, but for me, it'll drive me nuts. As I said, this was made for a Chevelle like the 71 we have over there. Totally different profile back here. The body actually does come down and meets that, and this is different profile, and it's basically no lines anywhere. It's like it's a built-in seamless trunk kit, but it's got matching carpet that matches the inside carpet on the cab area or cabin area, and I'm kind of happy with it. It came out good. He is wanting us to figure out something for a spare tire. Unfortunately, I don't think anything's going to work for a spare tire. It had factory spare in there when it was just the whole big open floor. I don't even think a collapsible spare is going to fit in there. So that's the kind of thing where you have to make the decision. Do you want it to be more of a show car? Do you want it to be more of a function over form car type deal? So he's going to have to figure that, as well as the jack and all that stuff. Under a normal car that uses that's not a convertible. I shouldn't say normal, just not convertible. All this space back here is open, so you could throw your factory jack and all that stuff. Usually we put all the stereo system back here, because then it's blocked off from that panel to here. It's just basically a cavern that you can throw everything in. But on a convertible, that's where your top stows, so you can't do that. She is extremely dusty inside and out, and I am going to give it a big humongous wipe down. But let's take a look at the engine. So not much has changed here, except you'll notice there is no wiper motor anymore. That is MIA, because that has been replaced. It's in here. This is a rain gear wiper system, and what that does is hide your motor in there. They give you a block off plate. If you want, you can body work and completely smooth that out. The one thing you have to do is you have to use 2 passenger side wiper arms, because the driver's side wiper arm has the hideaway linkage on here, and that's no longer functional. It's not going to hide below the cowl anymore. The other thing is, oh, where did I put the keys in my pocket, right? Yep. Let me put the keys in the ignition, and I will show you the other thing. Is the ratio they have on the linkage on the passenger side is such that it no longer sweeps all the way over to here into the path of your driver's wiper. So it's not a huge deal. So that's what you get now, which in the grand scheme of things does not matter. We got this one with the delay switch. As you can see down here, that's high, and there's all your delay settings right there, and then off. And then also we have electric washer pump. I have no washer fluid in it right now. So the washer fluid, when you hit it, of course it cycles the washer pump, but it also cycles the wipers, I think 3 times, and then they stop. So that is a nice kit if you want to completely clean up your engine bay and eliminate it, because you know that wiper motor is a big giant monstrosity on the firewall. We also got in some Ring Brothers hinges. We were going to use a couple other styles, but nothing seemed to fit correctly. The Ring Brothers also needed a little bit of tweaking, but needed far less tweaking than all the others did. So we have a set of those in. The only complaint I have on these Ring Brother hinges is now this is as high as the hood opens. Before, I mean, you were probably up to here, gives you a lot more room to work in there and stuff. Luckily, I'm kind of done working in there. Got a few small things to do. Like I said, I've got to fix the hood pop. So the hood pop is sticking. As you can hear, it's obviously hitting something. I've got to adjust that so that works correctly. I've got to get our visors on. Figure out, we're putting a new rear view mirror on, because as you can see, this one has got some, well, maybe you can't, there you go, you can see it kind of. It's got some delamination in it. You can see like where my arm is right there. But other than that, we are close to being finished. Seatbelts threw me for a loop, literally. And the phone's going off. So this car, I was trying to figure out We had one of the other guys take it apart and bag everything, and he did, only he didn't label everything when he bagged it. So I have an extra seat belt that has a Y coming off of it with a male and female end on it, and I was confused as hell as to where it was supposed to go. Turns out, I Google it, for 1971 only, very extremely rare, we have the deluxe seatbelt option, which gives you not only a lap belt, but it gives you this one that comes out of here that attaches in as a shoulder belt, and that is what these two are for. You have one that goes into the lap belt, which is this one, goes into the retractor right down there, and then this one goes across your shoulder and plugs into that buckle. Yeah, took me a while to find that. That wasn't fun to figure out without anything being labeled, because there's very little literature on that deluxe kit at all online. But let's see where else I have to show you. We've also got to pick him up some floor mats so these floors don't get dirty during my final test drives and when he finally grabs it. So this low car sport shifter, I love this thing. We're in park obviously now, you have reverse, you have neutral, which neutral locks just like park does. And you have one click back, that's drive, so I have this set up in the transmission to be drive, to be smooth shifting, early lock up, early shifting, kind of like a comfort mode. And then click it one more back, just like your normal CTSV Camaro type stuff, that's sport mode. Hangs the gear longer, waits longer to lock up. Actually doesn't, I have it set up so it doesn't lock up in gears 1 through 4, and it locks up late in 5 and 6. And then push it to the side, and you have tap shift mode. And you can go through all your gears, and I have my specific tuning set up for tap shift as well. And just like factory, well actually not just like, so this doesn't have a pin switch for this way. I have it set up to automatically be sport mode from drive to sport mode. But if you're in tap shift and you go back over, you're still stuck in tap shift mode unless you shift up to drive and then back, or like factory, I know Chryslers are like this, GM's like this, I don't know if Ford is. If you're tap shifting and you wanted to go back into what your gate mode was, which for us is sport, you just hold it forward for about 3 seconds and it goes into sport. So really digging this shifter. That's cool. I like these cup holders. I wasn't a huge fan of this TMI console at first because it just kind of looked bulky, but now that I got it in here and it's done, I kind of like it. So this wire will be gone because this will be going up to here, and this is my Holley tuning wire, so there'll be no wires under there. So we're pretty clean, and I gotta be honest with you, I am enjoying the hell out of driving this car. It rides and drives and sounds and looks awesome. It's like Jeff did like all the perfect things that I would do for a really, really nice, I will say simple, because it is simple. There's not a lot of crazy fab work on here, and just good driver. Alrighty, swapped GTOs around, and now I'm going to put this up in the air and I'll give you one final look underneath. And then I got to start doing some small work to it, nothing worth recording. Like I said, I'm going to fix this hood pull underneath. I got to do some sun visors, take care of a few more little odds and ends in the inside until we get the pieces I need to fully button up the inside. But let's take a look underneath. I'll show you the Ride-Tech suspension and the underpinnings of our powertrain. All right, let's start with the outer pinnings and then we'll get to the inner pinnings, and there's going to be all kinds of pinning here. So these are US Mag Bandit wheels. We're running an 18 by 8 on the front with a 245, 45, 18 Michelin Pilot Sport all season. They do not come with these center caps, but we got a kit that allows you to mount your PMD, Pontiac Motor Division, center caps to these wheels. And we chose these because they kind of emulate the factory steel rallies that this car had when it rolled in here. It just had 15 by 7 rallies all the way around. We also have our Willward 6-piston brakes on the front. If we move to the rear, same wheel in the rear, 18 by 9 sizing with a 275, 40, 18. And again, oh, I'm in park, so I can't turn it, but Willward 4 pistons in the rear. Now, underneath, let me grab a light, because it's dark. We are still running a factory steering box. We did not do, this is on a factory frame. This is not a Roadster Shop frame or anything, or Art Morrison or any of those. So to put a rack and pinion on these frames is ugly, because they put this big bracket down here that basically looks like you have a snowplow mount on the front of your car just to run rack and pinion. And this system handles fine for what we're doing. So, Ride-Tech strong arm kit in the front, Ride-Tech sway bar, Ride-Tech spindles. We did not do, I think at the time, they did not have a true turn system for this car yet. I'm not sure if they do now or not either, but I know they do for the F-bodies. I know that for a fact. The F-bodies and the Corvettes, they have them. I don't know if they had them for this, and it doesn't matter. This thing handles absolutely fine. We're not going to be road tracking this. The owner is not going to be tracking it at all. This is a cruiser for him. Single adjustable coilovers, front and rear. This is our 525 horse GM Crate LS3. This engine is nice and rowdy. I like it. Whole billet specialties polished front drive. Comes with ATI super damper and everything with those kits. Very nice kit. And we have a brand new 6L80 transmission to go with it. So I have this up here is my reverse switch, and of course this is just my mount for my cable. The low car shifter comes with a neutral safety switch, does not come with a reverse switch, so you have to do an adapter like this. They give you, I had to make this bracket. They give you, the bracket they gave me wouldn't work with this application, so I made the bracket, and they give you this little finger here that when you shift in reverse, pushes the ball socket in and gives you reverse lights. Everything on this vehicle is AN lined and heat shielded where it needs to be. Same thing on this side. All my main battery cables that come over and go to my starter, all heat shielded. Of course, the factory Holly Terminator stuff comes heat shielded where it's down near the exhaust. We have a low car dipstick for the engine and transmission on this car. Our buddy Russell did a beautiful 2.5-inch stainless exhaust all the way back into MagnaFlow mufflers, over the axle on this one, and out to the factory dual per side tip, so quad tip, which that's how these cars came from the factory. This is a Tanks Inc. baffled, correct for fuel injection tank with a 340 liter per hour pump, which is more than enough for what we need. We have our rear. We kept the BOP 10 bolt in this car. We didn't do a 9-inch because there was really no need for it. This car is not putting out crazy power. 525 is a good chunk, but it's not anything that is going to blow this rear end up. 10 bolts are stronger than people think. If this was the 700 horse LSA that's in that truck, yes, 9-inch. For this car, for this power level, for this transmission and all this, it's fine. Ride-Tech sway bar in the rear, upper and lower Ride-Tech arms, all their brackets to work with the BOP factory rear end. We did this one like this, and Oh, the white GTO that I just pulled out is the same way. And custom e-brake cables and everything, because you can't use the factory cables and stuff with the Willward stuff. And that is really about it under here, as fancy as it goes. Oh, we have our Corvette fuel regulator over here. I know a lot of people hate on these things, and even more people use them. I have no problem with them. 58 to 60 psi internally regulated with a return. Makes it easy to hook your fuel system up if you have a returnless one-port fuel rail like we do on this. If this was running aftermarket fuel rails, like pretty much if we weren't running a stock intake on this, we would run a full-up return system right up to the rails. But this has the factory rail on it, so that works fine. Never had a problem with these things. Never had one fail. People have, not us. And then hooker, I think it's the Blackheart cross member for the A-body for a 6L80 swap. And we also have up in here, which you can't really see because it's up in there, but we used a Studio Hot Rods transmission. I think it's their universal transmission tunnel for the A-bodies and the 6L80s. And it went in perfect. Welded right in. We had to modify the TMI carpet a little bit because now the tunnel is wider, but everything still fit with no problem. So that's about it underneath. Factory oil filters. I like using them. So we're running 1030 in this. And then we're going to continue running 1030. I like using the Delco filters. Everybody has their preference. That's my preference. Oh, the only thing I think I might do on this, so we're running the transmission cooler in the radiator. I think I'm going to add an external cooler just to help it a little bit more. On very hot days, we were approaching the 180 temperature range, and I'm just used to everything. I run on my own stuff with coolers in it that run 160 and below. Like a day like today, I'd be running about 130. And the further away from 200 degrees you can keep your transmission temperatures, the better. So that is it. Well, almost. Holley Retro Brights, and then we have everything in this car, inside, outside, front to back, is LED. We have Holley Retro Brights. We have a bunch of bulbs from Holley. They're Retro 1157 and 1156 bulbs. And then anything we used for 194s and stuff that Holley doesn't offer, we use from superbrightled.com. I've never had issues with them. I love them. I've used them for probably a decade now. So, but that's your update, final update really, on the 71 GTO project. Pro Touring, Restomod, pretty much everything. Jeff kind of just went down the online catalog and went, can I do all of this? And we were like, yeah. And it turned out to be a kick-ass car. I cannot stress enough how much I enjoy driving this thing. It's just so perfectly mannered, no matter what your throttle input is in cruising or on it or anything. It's awesome. It's a great combination of parts. He did good on picking it out, and we did awesome on assembling it, obviously. So I will talk to you guys later. We will probably do one closeout driving vid in this. Unfortunately, it's going to rain for 5 days, so it's not going to be anytime soon. But before it's delivered, we will get a drive video. Talk to you guys later.